Oh. Okay. Hi again. So, a lot of fuckery has occurred, sadly, ladies and germs. Now, as I start climbing up this long, harrowing ordeal, live in a dream, snake eater, boom, boom. That's a long ladder. I know what you're thinking. This isn't the beginning of Dranlea Castle. This doesn't seem like Combos meeting Nashandra or fighting those really shitty Dragon Rider Knights that were a fucking cakewalk. And it isn't. It is not, actually. And that's because I had a very annoying editing snafu, and all my footage for that fight and the beginning portions of going into Dranlea Castle has been lost. And I had thought before, gee, I'm probably not going to play this into New Game Plus, but considering how New Game Plus is in this game, you know what? Sure. Why not? I'll catch up the footage there, this way we can have the proper interactions. I even met Aldia for the first time in this playthrough, and that pissed me off real good, because that's my goal for this playthrough. I want to kick Aldia's weird, gooey, tree-man ass, but did we get the cool editing meat of us talking to Aldia? Lump of the first sin? No? Shit. So, again, I do apologize for that. I will have to make it up down in the pipeline. But, in the meantime, this monologue, vast digression, or, well, for me, I suppose, an audio diary of what's going on with either Dark Souls or my life at present, it will continue on forth. Now, this is me just watching at how long that elevator is and kind of just marveling at its, well, its girth. And I mean, look at it! Look at it go! Jim Christ. Anyway, so yes, I've been pretty busy. Been taking up more shifts at work. I'm working on a project, having to actually brush up on some rust as far as acting goes. I'm a little nervous, mostly because it's been a couple years now since I've actually truly performed in any sense, in a significant way. But I'm excited. I'm ready for more opportunities. And I think that's fantastic. It's good to break up the melodic miasma of the current day. To find some positivity with everything going on, I think that feels great. Because otherwise, it's a bit difficult to do so right at the moment. Let's see. We want to go. I'm flipping through the old user manual to find where I am. Hey, look! Is that a boss that's been turned into a normal character? Except he's not normal. He's just here in this area for a one-time fight. Very randomly added in. This fight did not go as well as the actual boss fight itself went for me. I was kind of in awe of this. Yep, I remember having to chomp on a lot of my crack and drink some orange juice to kill that fucker. Also, anyone else think that's a cool attack, even though the AoE damage on that's a little bit fucking? I probably shouldn't have been poking at it with my fiddlestick, that's reserved for more. Oh, ooh, that would have killed a man in real life. Actually, a lot of things in this game probably would do that, so I'm just gonna hold off on saying dumb things then. I'm also glad that doesn't do curse damage, because if it did, I would be extra fucked. Now, I do appreciate some of the mechanics of this region in particular, just because the idea of using some of your currency to open doors, and it's a one-time use thing, is a very interesting puzzle mechanic. It's something that makes Dranleia Castle a rather unique area, considering otherwise you don't really run into that much. Let's see. No, that lore doesn't really apply for this region at current. Let us look. Let us look. Dragon Riders. Master Knight. Here we go. King's Passage in the Shrine of Almont. Poor royal boy. He seemed like he wanted to try to fight me, but sadly, Black Dragon weaponry said, "No, you fuck. Be gone." One, two, three. Good trade. Oh, not a good trade. Glug-a-lug. One. Well, technically two. Not a full trade. Kablam! You see, and then you back off and you take the coward's way out by hitting him with your knowledge. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, instead of difficult. Lemon, difficult. Wait a minute. Yeah, that's a weird placement. This guide is very strange. It explains the Shrine of Almana, and then it goes into the Looking Glass Knight, which is what you have to kill to get there. And, pardon me, sorry about that. I do understand I may have just sandbagged that fight with the Mimic, but to be honest, that wasn't much of a fight. Not really that big of a deal. Oh, and I never noticed that the Looking Glass Knight has fucking toes on its armor set. What a goof. Even if it may be just a really cool version of Brienne of Tarth, even though Brienne of Tarth hasn't been on TV at the time of Dark Souls 2's, well, development cycle, I'd say. Still, I kind of get Brienne of Tarth vibes, since I believe the Looking Glass Knight is a woman. It starts some of that Dark Souls motif where it's a very unsexualized character. You can't really engender it in any sense. It's kind of just a suit of armor, but then they use female pronouns for it, which I find kind of goofy. And as you can see, that is a Belfry Gargoyle just right up there. And I sensed it. I could smell it with my crusty face and nose. But first I said, let's spell snipe this bowman. Do not feel like dealing with these Alon Knight captains right now. And I just realized that I unintentionally look like a poor man's Slave Knight Gale. Look, I even got the big sword and my movement sucks. And I'm weak to dark... Well, I'm weak to a lot of things. Hey look, he woke up. Now, the thing I always thought was funny is you could try taking shots at him. The only thing is that Gargoyle can hit you through things, because of course it can. Any game that doesn't care about clipping is a dangerous game, and all the Souls games give zero fucks about clipping. No fucks were given. Invisible, wall breaking, it does not matter. If it clips, it ships for a low flat rate, US Postal. Also, they really don't like fire damage. It's ironic since they're made out of it. See, that was some good hits. If he's gonna try and do a swoopy swoop, it's gonna hurt, but really get me. It's kind of a weird catch of the roll. Once again, after a certain amount of time, trading seems to be the better way of doing things, and that's why I switched to heavier weapons. I do keep the quick boys for the confined spaces, that and I still love Ricard's rapier. It's probably not the most optimal weapon I should be using. That's what the Black Knight Sword's there for. But I just love it. It's got a good rapier animation, and it's incredibly satisfying when it works. And I guess that really kind of comes down to how you view the game. Are you there to outright win? Are you there to roleplay? Is there fun involved? How much fun are you having when you do these things? I'm wondering that right now because I'm currently working on making content as far as MK... Oh, Jesus Christ. Sorry about that, my mic keeps falling. I'm just gonna hold that there. I often wonder, to what extent is a habit-forming activity more conscious or unconscious? Do we choose the things we do, or have we been trained or conditioned in such a way that a thing we would consider a brainless hobby is a part of our routine? I'm really kind of wondering how much of that is coming out from, well, the quarantine. From staying home quite a bit and being distant from a lot of social situations. Again, not raking it in a bad way because we all need to be safe. But it does make me wonder how much of my routine is just me not thinking about what I'm doing, but just doing it because it's what I know. If that makes sense. After all, we're all human, we're creatures of habit. That's why I'm playing a game I haven't touched in a while, and kind of looking back at 2-week-old footage because I like having these habits. But I don't really know why I do it. Am I hollowing? Is that what's happening here? After about 4 months of just being indoors, am I just slowly turning hollow and becoming a crusty busty? Is this the timeline I am currently on? Ah, yes. That thing I stared at for like 2 minutes. Look at it go! Hey, a door. And we just keep going. Going. Oh, what hype gameplay is this? Yeah. Everyone likes going up a tower. Who put that mirror up there? I feel really bad for the person who has to clean all these randomly placed to break up the geometry mirrors. Jim Christ. When this kingdom wasn't hollow, those people had the worst job ever. Right up there, this guy. So this is the embedded. Backstory on him, he's essentially a super pervert, and he is currently chained to lock up this finito. I believe that's a finito. And, well, this is one of the aspects of Dark Souls that I like for Dark Souls 2. It's uncharacteristically more fantasy in a very generalized way. You have a princess, essentially, in a castle that you can free. That is a very traditional cornerstone that even a plumber can do. In Dark Souls 1, you kind of do it when you meet Gwendolyn, even though Gwendolyn's a lie. Spoilers for an ancient game. And in Dark Souls 3, you don't really do anything like that. At most, you give a blind woman a pair of eyes, and that's really gruesome. And it leaves you open to commit one of the worst endings and best endings in the game. So, yeah, no other Dark Souls game quite compares to that type of action. Even Bloodborne doesn't quite have a noble section where you do a good thing. Everything kind of has a level of ambiguity to it, so when you meet like a very starkly, this is what a good guy would do type situation, it's fascinating to me. Now, I just want everyone to know ahead of time, as I walk in here, I do kill the Mirror Knight in my first attempt. However, I fucked up. I've been using assists, primarily because it will advance some characters' plot lines. And when I came in here, I assumed that I was unable to summon anyone here. Turns out, I had completely forgotten that I was hollow. This happens a lot with me, because if I'm wearing headgear, even this one that totally shows my hair and my skin underneath, I just did not notice, and it fucked me on a storyline. I'm pretty sure Ben Holt and Luca Teal are now not going to spawn the way they're supposed to. So that makes me sad. Also, these fucks. Look at these stylish Darth Maul horsemen. Look at them go. They're doing a shit ton of damage, too, which turns into the kiting scenario of the year. As I just go all the way back over here and go, glug. They can't go past because they only protect the door to the boss fight. And then you run back in and you kind of just tap them. Give them a little tap. Hey, you. Yeah, you come fight me in Mortal Kombat. Yeah. See, look, I'm zoning. I'm on Combat League. You'll love me. It's great, I promise. Total Con wins. Also, they just drop slabs. Like, what the fuck? And that's when I equip that increased drop value shield just to go, alright, give me some goods, boys. Come on, My Little Pony. Get it. See? Another slab! Like, what the fuck? Why would a general enemy drop slabs? And then I remembered, oh yeah, this is Dark Souls 2, where you can get like 3 slabs in the first 15 minutes. But you won't get anything else to level up your basic gear until, like, years later. Ugh. So, as we're going along here, I'm going to go ahead and read the bio for the Looking Glass Knight. King Vendrick's lieutenant. Charged with testing the prowess of those who seek to serve in Dranlaig's Order of Royal Knights. Ever dedicated to his duty, he continues to await challengers after the kingdom's subsequent collapse. And even at the end of King's Passage, he stays there long after Vendrick's disappearance. Those who failed the test are remorselessly slaughtered by this enigmatic knight whose face lies hidden behind a cold metal mask. Now, what I find interesting is, again, they genderify this boss as a he in the manual, whereas from what I can tell, I believe this is actually just a very strong woman. I only say that because the way the cuirass seems to be carved and the markings of the general line of the armor. Again, it also could just be a dude, but I want to say this is just a woman. What is interesting is the idea of defense of this creature, because it's wearing very shiny armor in a semi-Roman sense. The Great Shield is ridiculous, but what I find that's funny is it seems to rely on the shield more than anything else. If you look at its barbed sword has barbs at the end, but it has no crossguard. So it's not intending to twist to do any thrusting. It's mostly there to do big cleaver moves, which explains a lot. And I don't know why I wasn't hit there, but I am very thankful that I wasn't. Unlike there. So the trades in this fight will be incredibly dumb. And the hitbox on that is ridiculous later on in the line. But you can see that I'm not doing too bad. I've definitely taken some licks I shouldn't have, like right there in particular. Glug. And someone really likes the lightning move. And see? That lingering hitbox? It will fuck you. So be careful of that. And then there's this shit. So, you can do some damage here, but it's not really gonna do much. And it even does a little bit of damage when he summons his little friend. Now, this is the annoying part, because if you are online, you could be invaded by an actual defender. And this is a Covenant. But I did not have that luck, because it is 2020. And who the fuck is playing that Covenant in 2020 in Dark Souls 2 at the time I was playing on the PS4? Answer? Fucking no one. Not to mention they have to be around the same soul level as me, so all those circumstances amount to piddle shit when it comes to actually fighting this thing. Which I believe in this playthrough I actually do twice. Also, fuck that move in particular. Also, wow, it hit at that angle? Looking back at that, that's some bullshit. I also appreciate quite a bit as I'm looking at this old, out-of-date guide that they named the moves that this boss does, and it tickles the shit out of me. So there's physical attacks, lightning rod, storm cloud slash, thunder beam, electrostatic discharge, and through the looking glass. The way they're named, it makes it sound like a fighting game character, and now I really want a Dark Souls fighting game. I think that would be fantastic. I mean, who wouldn't want to play as Solaire doing some hip parry moves and some lightning spear? I'm starting to think I should have just been hitting the shield throughout all this, because I was so fucking pissed that I was dropped 2 random invaders dealing with this cheap hobo version of Ornstein and Smough, except Ornstein and Smough were the same character here. It's like fighting a mad spirit in Dark Souls 3 while fighting a boss. It's just fun. Like, why would you do that to another human being, you monster? Like, yeah, Dark Souls 3, or any other Souls game, they're not just difficult because of the NPCs. Yeah, let's just throw that PvP element in there. Just really stick it to the person who bought this game, thinking that they were playing a character action adventure game that they might play with friends. Utter horseshit. Big nonsense. Ooh, I didn't get why that worked when I rolled right. Huh. As you can see, I started developing the Sekiro method of just running the fuck away. Sekiro and actually Neo also actually have that as a viable option. Just sprinting in the general opposite direction of what's hitting you. Yeah, that'll do. See, that hitbox would have been bad. And we're done. Oh yeah, I remember that. I was so mad. Because that looking glass shield immediately repels you big time, even if you're not hitting it square. Like, you could hit it on accident from the roundaboutness of your swings, and you're just fucked. So, we take a little minute here, do some light exploring. So again, the myriad of ways of going up and down things in this game is kind of haphazard and nebulous. You went up and down a long tower to go through a set of double doors, down a long hallway to an outdoor enclosure, to go down a different elevator that's reused from Dark Souls 1. You get that sexy load in the next area load in, as one of the few rainy regions in all of the Souls games goes away. And as you make your way down, you can hear Snake Eater very quietly in your head. At least I do. Right now. Abundantly. Kinda sounds like a spaceship, to be honest. And you make it down into a little enclosure. And there's a hole in the wall. Oh. Well, I can't wait to go through this. This will be fan-fucking-tastic. So, people complain about this area. I think it's the worst area in this game. It's up there. It's not a poison zone, but for role-playing and for playthrough purposes, it might as well be. Welcome to the Shrine of El Mana. Prepare to die and lose your souls. Now, a quick little bonus. I'm gonna go ahead and talk to the counselor here.
Visitor, our guest such, tell me, the king commandeered wit to settle. The queen brought peace to this land and to her king. A peace so deep, it was like the dark.
Foreshadowing, foreshadowing, foreshadowing!